What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up? It's been a bad week for
I
intros.
just can't get right. I just can't get right. I told you I asked ChatGPT to rewrite the intro, and it just changed like 2 words. So I'm saying it's got to be perfect. Like our AI overlords are saying that this is perfect. But please, if you have not done so, please go back and check out Monday and Tuesday, our topics, Wednesday discussion. I think every episode is good, but definitely check out Mondays when we talk about the New York Department of Finance. Financial services and how they finalize their Second Amendment. And then Wednesday, we talk about the SEC suing SolarWinds and their CISO. So definitely check that out. But check out all the episodes, right? We got like almost 500 episodes. If this is not 500, I don't know. I never count. If we're not hitting 500 this week, we hit 500 next week. So stay tuned for that. I'll put it on the episode like I did 400 if I forgot. But I try to always say like, this is going to be this episode. I didn't do that. I'm sorry. But definitely check us out. We have a bunch of really good timeless episodes, and they keep coming back up, right? Like the SolarWinds thing has been since the inception of the podcast. We've been talking about SolarWinds at least a handful of times every year, and this year is getting crazy. So the year is almost over. So, but without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So it was a decent week for me. My wife, not so much. I know it's usually like what we've taken in and whatnot, but my wife had an injury this week that's kind of got her mobility limited. So I kind of feel for it. Yeah, I got to help her out a little bit more. You know what I mean? So, um, and that was Halloween night. Believe it or not, man. Like it was the night of Halloween. We had already taken the kids out and getting them ready for bed before she had her injury, but had an ER visit.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was something else, man. So she could be doing better. But as for me, my big thing this week, finished up Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I
So
saw that. Like you blazed through. Like I'm at like just shy of 70%, and
yeah.
even my son's getting frustrated with me. He's like, "You're taking too long. Like, hurry up so we can talk about it." Right? Do our own little spoiler cast between me and him. But I hate to dwell on it, but I just had to ask the question. Like, and I'm not trying to make fun.
Yeah.
I've never been to an ER on a holiday. That's got to be weird, right? Like, so you're there. Is it crowded because
There
people
was
are?
nobody there. There was no,
Okay, got you.
like she
Because I
got
was thinking like people in costumes because they got
I
hurt.
I was worried about that. So like here's the thing though. So we went to Fort Carson down here, right? So like
Okay,
we are on a military installation. So you're already limited, right? It's only people that have access to the base
right.
get put
So
in
that
there.
was smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's smart. Yeah.
Well, the thing was like with the injury that she had, we thought it was going to be a little more serious than it was based on what happened. And so the ER that's closer to the house, they're smaller and they're almost always packed, right? It's general
Mhm.
population. So there's always a wait and whatnot. So if there was a major issue, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't want to have you just sitting there waiting. So let's go to Fort
Right.
Carson. So we did that. Nobody, look, when I say nobody was in the waiting room. We sat down, Ryan, I'm telling you, maybe 2 minutes before
Oh
they called.
wow.
Yeah, before
Okay.
they called her back. And honestly, I don't recall seeing anybody back there when we were walking back to the room that they
Yeah.
put. So yeah, it was man, it was cool. I
Okay,
was
that's
glad.
good. That's good. And then you get. I just thought about it. And then this is anecdotally, uh, military members when they get hurt, if it's something that could be taken sideways, they don't show up for days after the injury.
Oh yeah.
I had a dude knocked out his grill, his front teeth. He contacted me like so we had a 4 day and he doesn't listen to podcasts, so I'm not worried about it. But we had a 4 day and he called us like on a Sunday or Monday of that 4 day and was like, "Hey, I need to go to dental. I hurt I had an injury, knocked out a tooth." I was like, "Man, you gotta FaceTime me." So he flips to FaceTime. I'm like, "Yeah." Like his face is all purple and black and his teeth are missing. I'm like, "What happened?" He was like, I was on my scooter and I fell, face planted. And I was like, "When?" And he was like, "A couple days ago." And then automatically red flags. I was like, "Oh, okay, you probably drunk." You didn't want to show up the day of
Mhm.
because then that's a whole different conversation, right? Because military
Yeah.
gets all in your business. For the civilians listening who've never been in the military, like Your coworkers, they get drunk, they get hurt. You don't care. Like you gonna show up or nah? You taking PTO or nah? But in the military, I gotta go down. There's an interview, there's paperwork. I gotta figure out like why'd you do because you're government property. Why did you damage government property? I need to figure it out.
You'll end up in ADAP. That's what ends up happening.
Right, exactly. So miraculously, this dude on Monday showed up with a brand new grill. Like,
Mm.
yeah, they fixed all this stuff. They like it was crazy. Like the military, like we joke and say like they're not good at what they do. They're really good. Like they fixed his whole mouth. Because when he showed me the before, like when he was on FaceTime versus at the after, I was like, that is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and there have been times where like, and this is in the civilian world too, right? Like having experienced both sides of it, I don't think it's too much different from the care you get in the military, right? So pretty much it's socialized medicine, right? Like
Yeah,
like it's what it is in the military, but like there are times where we're treated very well, right? Like, but there are times where you may have a longer wait or whatever situation may be. But I don't, I don't, I don't poo-poo it. You know what I mean? I'm glad I
oh
had it.
yeah, yeah,
That I was
definitely.
in, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I always had the means to do whatever. Like TRICARE, even though they may not pay as much as some of these other insurance companies, like there's
Yeah.
other doctors, civilian doctors and whatnot that'll take them. But um, yeah, I don't complain about it. I mean, it's medical that millions of people don't have at all. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
exactly. And then my whole thing is go big or go home is what I feel from TRICARE. Like if you have something major, it pays its weight in gold. If it's something small though, it's like nah, they do kind of nickel and dime you.
yeah,
So I'm like, if you go and get hurt, get real hurt. Because it's worth it. Because they will fix you. Like his grill was jacked. I make like the he was a handsome guy, right? So I immediately like because military we're so jacked up, our mental. After when I saw him the next day and he was at the dental, I was like, man, listen, you're done for. And he was like, why? What, am I gonna get in trouble? I was like, no, like that was your money maker. And that's an inappropriate joke, but it made him laugh because he was in a lot of pain and he was not in a good mood. I was like, you're done for. The ladies, they not calling no more. And then when he showed up hours later and he had a brand new grill. I was like, man, that's impressive. You back in business. You
yo,
gonna be
that's
okay.
hilarious. It was like Sopranos, right? Like not in the face tone, like that. You'll never want to get, you know.
Right. I was like, man. But yeah, like, crazy military stuff. But I'm glad your wife is feeling better. I'm glad they were able to take, good care of her. That's unfortunate, especially during the holiday. It sucks.
Yeah, like I said, the children were already in. They had got their candy for the night. You know what I mean? And it was a freak thing, man. Like she had had an injury on the other knee before, and this was the other one. So it's just like, wow, like I'm gonna be rolling you around in our old years. You know what I mean? Like it's
It's
what
the
it is.
future. The AI is gonna be rolling y'all
That's true. That's true.
around.
You're gonna have a nice mechanicalized or motorized,
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
You're gonna say hey, whatever. It'll be
Yeah.
the flavor of the day. Take
Hey,
me to X.
hey, Wheelie, like Wally with Wheelie, hey, Wheelie,
Right.
Wheelie. But no, so it was not the best for her. But
Right.
she took it like a champ, man, and she's doing okay. She's on the crutches and everything, but um, just waiting for more tests and whatnot. Waiting for a call for MRI and see how much more
Gotcha.
damage may or may not have been done. But yeah, she's taking it like a champ. So um, but like I said, Spider-Man 2 was the major thing, man. So we talked about this before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not. It may have been offline. We were talking about it, but how short the game is. Like I 100%ed the game in 33 hours. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's perfect. Like you say, like I'm taking too long, but you say 33, that's the sweet spot. Like that, because no, it's not
Seven
enough.
for $70? No,
Yeah. You're
no.
you're basically getting $2 an hour is what you paid for this experience. I think that's a sweet spot. And I get like other games will give you 120, 200 hours, like your Horizons and your anything made by Bethesda, right? Um,
But I don't
I
need
don't
that
I
much
don't
either.
need all that. I don't
I,
need that.
I don't need the 100. I don't need the 100 and some odd either. Like I'm at,
Mhm.
I want to say I'm at like 160, maybe 180 on the second horizon. I'm right at the
Too
end though.
damn many
Right at the end.
hours.
It is, and I'm not saying I need that, but 33 was too short, and it was a good experience. But the thing is, like I was starting to feel like I was getting a little repetitive. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Maybe
Gotcha.
maybe 33 is the sweet spot, but no, if you'd have given me 60, I'd have been like, okay, like almost a
60
dollar.
hours?
Yeah, I'd have been good with that. Except,
Because you walk out of movie theater with your family, right? Like we're a family of five over here. That's over $100
yeah,
for a 2 hour maybe experience.
hmm
But you got 33 curated, manicured, beautiful hours. You're like, nah, give me more. Because there's gonna be DLC, but you gotta pay for that. So you want more money for some more hours.
I,
Okay. But so aside from the money versus the time, how'd you feel about those 33 hours?
it was good. It was really good. I did like it. The story was pretty good too. Like some of the stuff they went into. Like when I talked to you a few days ago, a couple days ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I was like, "How far along are you?" Like when you were describing your part, I was not there yet.
Yeah, you leaped over me. Like I'm hoping to do that
Well,
this weekend. I'm hoping
well,
to get to where you're at.
well, because I did all the side mission stuff first, right? So like it got to a point where like I was doing all the side stuff, and then it was to where I had to progress further in the story to finish more of the side stuff. So like where I was,
Okay. And I think that's where I'm getting. Like
yeah,
so I need to go and fight the thing. Like uh I don't want to give anything away, but
don't give it away. Don't give it
yeah, I
away.
don't want to give anything away. But I need to go and do an encounter. But I'm just doing all the side stuff as I get there, right? I'm trying to do it naturally. Like I went back to the bottom of the map and I'm working my way up, doing all the taking photos and doing the science missions.
I think that was the first one I finished was the photos.
Really? So
Yeah.
I was just jumping all around, and now I'm trying to be more organized. And then when Junior sees me, he's like, just go and do. He keeps warning me. He keeps saying like, you can't do certain things, or certain things won't be fun until you progress a little bit more. I'm just like, I might do that after we get off the podcast. I might jump back into the story and then do a little more progression. But you said you enjoyed the story. What about are you playing on performance? Are you playing on fidelity? Like what settings are you using?
I'd have to look. I'd have to go look. I know it asked me when I first started up, and I don't remember if I picked performance or what's the other one?
Fidelity. So
Yeah,
like you got
fidelity.
better visuals at 30 or do you have better performance like 60 frames?
I'd have to look. Like it's not jumping or skipping or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
it looks beautiful. Like there's nothing. I mean, every you got your occasional, like hand through or whatever, like through a building or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's
There are some glitches. I've had to restart checkpoint a couple of times more than I would like.
it happened to me once. It was only once, but like it's one of
Really?
those things where I expect that with every game now. Yeah, like
Man,
it was just
like
not it
I've
was not moving from a certain point. I was like, what in the world? And my wife was sitting here with me and she was like, why aren't you doing anything? I was like, it's not allowing me to do anything. So I was just like, restart last checkpoint, and then it went past it.
it
So
happened to me 4 or 5 times. I got Mary Jane stuck.
what?
She got stuck one time. It made me so mad. I was near the end of finishing something with her and she got stuck in geometry and I was just like,
Wow. Yeah, I haven't had that. Are
yeah.
you're doing the updates to the game, right? There's been a couple
Mhm.
updates. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm letting it update or whatever. But I've heard it's hit or miss. It's on your play style and what you're doing and what have you. Like I'm just finding random things to get stuck in and then doing that somehow. It's a me thing. It's the way I'm playing, I guess.
Yeah. But no, it's a good game. I can't complain about it. I've put some time into that. Usually, I wait to the weekends to like watch games and what or to play games and whatnot, and then I get that time in. But this one, when I caught a little bit of time, at the end of the night or something like that, I'd put
Yeah,
like an hour in. You know what I mean? And be like, all right, cool. So I think that's why I got through the 33 hours in 3 weeks. How long has the game been out? 3 weeks, something
yeah.
like that.
Which I think is respectable time. Like I told you, like RJ, he knocked it out in that
In a
weekend. It came
weekend,
out. Yeah,
yeah,
he knocked it out on the weekend and got his 100%. I was just like. I ain't got that type of time. So I squeeze it in when I can. Like, so I'll probably get some in this morning if the time change didn't make everybody wake up earlier because we were actually waking up later.
yeah.
So we'll see how that works out. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to finish and then go back and do these things. I just want to knock these things out. It's like, oh, I don't know why. That's weird. Um,
So
but
I will tell you there is one like side mission thing. You will not be able to finish it until you complete the game. So like you'll come across, you'll see it, and you'll be like, how come I can't find this one mission for this? You know what I mean? You have to finish the game to do it. And even then it's more of a heartfelt thing. It's not
gotcha.
very intensive.
Gotcha. And they're pulling out the heartstrings. Like I've had a couple of the friend missions or whatever you want to call them where I'm like, that That's great. They have one that I think is very it's deeper. It may be I may be making it deeper than what it really is, but you play as one of your friends
Mm,
who has a challenge, so to speak. So you get to see her perspective on how the world works.
yeah.
I thought was very interesting, and it kind of like for whatever reason, because it wasn't very heartfelt. It was supposed to be, but it actually like it poked at the heartstrings. I was like, I've never thought of my world like that. Like,
You know what's crazy is I was talking to my wife about this yesterday, just yesterday, because I was watching a commercial where it had somebody that had the same disability that was
yeah,
of color, right? And I was like, I am seeing so much more of this. Like I'm seeing it. I was like, it's in video games, movies, commercials.
yeah,
Like, so not to really give it away, but if you've seen Creed 3, same thing, right?
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So
Yeah,
like I'm seeing a lot more of this. You know what I mean? With people of color. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's something that's come up in conversation that just missed me or like, but you have to assume that people of color have the same disability, right? You just didn't see it as often.
right, right, exactly. So yeah, so it's pretty interesting in that regard. So I think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be game of the year. I think it's gonna be in the talks of game of the year. Um, but it's a little bit buggy and I haven't gotten to the end or whatever, but this year is so weird. Like 2023 has been a banger of a video game year where like Call of Duty I think is about to drop and I do not care at all. Like usually I don't really care anyway, but I at least play the campaign or whatever. But
Mm,
my backlog is so full of so many great games. Like you got your Zeldas, you got your Starfields, your Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2 apparently is in the talks game of the year. They're saying not only is it a great story, but it's a technical showcase.
mm,
Like upgrade your PC showcase. It's like it looks amazing on consoles. It looks even more amazing if you buy the right gear. I'm like I want to like I'm a big fan of the company who makes it, Remedy, the Max Payne, Alan Wake, Control, all those games. Um, but I would never say one of their games is game of the year, and now it's a contender. So
mm,
it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy year. So you
mm.
just like 33 hours was not enough. So I've seen that there are hooks for DLC. I haven't gotten obviously as far as you have gotten, so maybe some of the stuff will come to its conclusion. But I feel like a lot of the side missions are setting up threads for what's to come. Um,
I have a pretty good idea what the DLC is going to be based
okay,
off the
based
story.
on the ending.
Yeah, well, not the ending. It was before the ending. There's someone else that you deal with that it does not come to a conclusion. So I'm like, this is going to be,
Ah, okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. And what really surprises me in this one is because I assume that there won't be another Spider-Man for some time aside from the DLC. Um, but the way they're treating some of the characters is crazy to me. Like they're not leaving room for them to do stuff again. Like there's dire consequences in this one. It feels like it has a darker tone than the first. And I thought the first one uh like was pretty Spider-Man-y, but this one feels like they're like, nah, we're moving on to something because the company that makes this game is going to make Wolverine game. So I was like, maybe that's why the tone's a little bit darker because they're gonna like Wolverine comes out. We assume 2024, 2025, and there's a trailer. I don't know if you've seen it or not. That's not in game, but it does show a darker tone to that because that character is obviously, you know, Wolverine's a beast. Um,
And he's
so
outliving everybody, right? So it's like,
yeah, yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So they're making the Wolverine game. So I was just like, well, maybe that's why this one is. It feels like they're wrapping Spider-Man up. Like maybe because they're gonna pivot to a bigger universe. They're gonna like work on Wolverine, then they'll work on somebody else. Um, and then I know DC and Marvel are not the same universe, right? Like everybody who listens to this podcast knows that we're pretty nerdy. We know the difference between the two. But when I put the web wings out and I'm flying around, I'm just like they could make a Superman game. I think they could pull it off if they wanted to. So I'm like, because the Superman games always suck. Notorious Superman 64, one of the worst games of all time. Speaking of getting stuck in geometry, like literally the game was like Superman broke the game. Like I would fly into a wall and then I'd be behind that wall. And for whatever reason, there was always water behind that wall. I don't know. YouTube it. It's crazy. But it was not fun. I think Insomniac could make a fun Superman game. I think they could pull it off.
So you say that, right? But like your thing with Superman is that nobody can hurt him, right? So like at what point is it
Yeah, they had kryptonite bullets and stuff like that in the Super
okay?
64. Like they made ways to hurt him, but still, this game was just bad to begin with. But even flying sucked. Like the whole purpose of this game was to fly around.
But like that's the thing, right? Like if you have kryptonite bullets, like how much of this planet ended up on Earth to where they came across
Right.
kryptonite, right? Like every villain you come across has kryptonite. Like was our moon made of kryptonite and it's just falling apart? Like what is going on?
Right, right. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be super rare, right? But he's also susceptible to magic, which
That's
everybody
true.
should be, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
so I
That's your
I always
complaint.
hated that.
That's your complaint. Yeah.
Kryptonite and magic. You'd be like, duh.
So look, I don't know if you remember this, right? Like you may not, but I'm taking it back here. So do you remember when we went to go get that TV when we were in Virginia? We went to Best Buy.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
So do you remember the guy, the salesman that was there? We were having this conversation about Superman. He was on the same tone as you. I was like, Superman's a beast. He was like, yeah, but like Superman, he was like kryptonite and magic. Like you were like, yes,
Right.
like yes. Like so we're having the discussion, and it was the
That's
same.
funny. That's
You
funny.
know
I,
that?
I I vaguely remember that. I
Yeah.
remember more if we got the TV to the house and your wife was like I thought it was gonna be bigger and I immediately tried to yank it out
You
your
try to
hand.
get it
I
back.
was like, hey, let's go
Let's
back.
go back. It's
You
like,
just got
no,
you just got you just got the thumbs up. Let's go.
I remember that. Yeah, but yo, it was wild, man. So like, I don't know. Like,
That is hilarious. That and I should have got his contact information because he is he is my hero. Kryptonite and magic. Get out of here.
same thing. He was on the same tone as you,
Yeah.
man. Like I was just like, ah, man.
I think they could make it interesting, like if only they could. There's so many pieces of Superman that work for me now, in modern day, right? Like with the putting them in the red room to deplete his power. Obviously, Kryptonite's still a thing, but just make it a younger Superman where he doesn't understand his powers. Like even that would limit him, right?
Like a year
Like
one thing, like you do with
yeah,
Batman.
like do something like that. So he's not just this like OP spinning the world backwards, changing time Superman. This kind of sucks. He's overpowered. But if you give me like the Superman, my friend Superman or whatever, the cartoon that I was trying to put you on, he just him being not knowing how his powers work, I think changes the tone of the game right there. He doesn't know he can flick people into the sun yet. You know what I mean? Like give him that. He's just learning he can, leap over buildings in a single bound. Like give me that Superman maybe. And that will work out better. But did
I,
you
I could
did you
see
use
that.
the web wings a lot or not?
Oh,
Not
a
really.
lot, a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun, right? Like
yeah.
like people complain. They're like, this is not a Batman game. This is a Superman game. You will swing. I'm just like, but this is also fun.
You're not swinging across the river. Like
Right. I need to use them
yeah,
wings to get
yeah.
over there.
Get that
Yeah.
super slingshot. Yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
yeah,
That's my favorite. I've used the other one, the one that you jump like high to get your swing on or
yeah.
whatever. Like, now we slingshotting everywhere. I see a Spider-Man, the Spider Bot icon. I got a slingshot to it.
Yeah.
I always try to pass it so I can just scoop it off the building and keep going. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, it's so cool.
Oh man. Yeah. No, it was a good game. It really was a good game. 33 hours. I wish I had more. Double up that time. And I think they could have put more in it, but they put a lot in it. Like
Yeah,
as you do the side missions and whatnot, they did a lot. I'm not going to say they didn't, but they did a lot of the side mission things, but they made them shorter. They made them easier to complete. You know what I mean? Because
gotcha.
short. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, and I agree. The only thing I don't, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just it's becoming funny to me. I think it's gonna be a meme. You ride a lot of bikes. You're like, why am I on a bike?
you think it was a lot though?
More like I could have just did one or two bike things. Like
Okay.
I did another bike thing. I'm just like, why am I riding this bike? And I get it. You're getting story out of it, right? He gets to talk to you because you're not just swinging, zipping across the city, which you like. This is the most kinetic Spider-Man, I think, out of all of them. Like before, it was fun in the first one. It was fun in Miles Morales. Like this is, I don't want to fast travel. I only do it if I'm trying to jump to the bottom of the map real fast. But I will just because the traversal is part of the fun. It's kind of like playing a driving game in that regard, right? Like it's fun to drive in a driving game. It's fun to swing in this game. or wing web or all the above, right? I'm out here making right hand turns. I'm hitting the circle so I can make a quick turn. Um, I always forget whenever I have to use the web wings in the mission. I always forget you pilot like a plane. So like you have the yeah, the down is up, the up is
Down,
down.
down, up, yeah.
Every single time I'm on one of those missions where I have to follow something, like to get the signal, it always throws me off at the very beginning. I don't know why. Like, because I'm always using them outside of that, but as soon as they jump into a mission where I have to use it, I'm always upside down. I don't know why. My brain just can't handle it.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That was not a great deterrent to me. There were some things like I now that I think about it, yeah, there was more bike stuff, and it's just like,
You're like, why am I always on a bike?
yeah,
But I get it. They have to slow you down to give you some story because you could just zip around quickly. And then I got the youngest on it now. Like he saw me and RJ playing it. He was like, I want to try it. And I was just like, I don't know. But if you turn it down to friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he can't die in combat. He can die if like he was playing the Sandman part, and Sandman, there's a part where if you don't progress, he'll knock you off the map and kill you. He can die there, but he can't die. He can't be KO'd in a fight. And he's getting it. Like
yeah,
there's some mechanic, like some of it's a little bit tough because he's used to tablet, right? So like learning like R2 and L1, and you'll do things in combination. Like he's starting to pick up on it, but I think he's of the proper age where he can kind of get it. He hates cutscenes, hates them.
really, because he just wants to keep playing.
Yeah, he's like, why are you slowing me down? So I had to show him like you can skip most of these if you go to the menu and you go down here. So he's getting it.
Yeah,
So
but some of those cutscenes provide story too. You
he
know what I
does
mean?
not care.
Right.
He just wants to fight people.
Okay. All
That's
right.
it. He just wants to fight people. But yeah, he's getting he's enjoying it. So obviously it's gonna take him a lot longer. If he ever he might stop playing randomly, right? He might be like, I got enough. Um, but it's kind of cool to see him now jump to it. And at the same time, I want to be that parent where like, you don't deserve this. You need to go back and play Mario 2D. You don't deserve this amazing Spider-Man game. I had to wait 3 decades for this. You just jump off the top, you get a good Spider-Man game. Get out of here with that. But no, I'm definitely enjoying it too. I'm going to try to wrap it up this weekend, if not early next week. Um, I like where they're going. It's heartfelt. I like it. It's a good balance between Peter and Miles. I honestly think Miles has the better powers.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Like I was like, man, but here's the thing. It will come up as you progress, that there's a suit that Peter gets that you're like, all right, this is kind of,
Okay.
you know,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha. That's kind of what my son alluded to. He was like, I need you to progress
yeah,
because you got the plane, Peter. I need you to work on it. So okay.
yeah.
But no, I'm interested to get into the end. Then we can discuss it right outside of the podcast because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Um, but what's next? What are you gonna play next?
I don't know. I keep telling myself I want to get 2K because I haven't gotten it in like the last 3 years. Like I don't follow basketball as closely as I used to either. Like when it comes to like the playoffs and whatnot, I'll pay a little bit closer attention. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I don't think the game, and I don't want to sound like an old fuddy duddy or anything like that, but I just don't think the game, like the players, even like it's just not as good as it used to be. Like I'm I know that 3-point shots are exciting for people, but for me,
Right.
it's like I don't need to see everybody shooting threes.
Everybody's shooting from half court now.
You know what I mean?
The
Like
game
go,
has changed.
yeah, go in there and bang, like dunk on somebody, like do something like that. But like everybody wants to be more finesse. And again, I'm not poo-pooing it. That's what the game is, right? Shoot the 3-pointer or get a layup. Like
Yeah.
it's either from very close to the basket or it's from far out from the basket. There is no in between. So like anybody who's a mid-range jump shot shooter now is like it's like a unicorn. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's like, ooh, like how do you do that? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I keep telling myself I want to do it because, like I said, it's been at least 3 years since I've
Yeah.
got it, but I don't
But
know.
so are you gonna play it to play as people who exist, or are you gonna try to create a character? 'Cause
No,
that's where
I never create a character.
okay, well good. Then you'll be safe. Because
Yeah,
that's the most frustrating thing about 2K. Your player made to the league and he cannot dribble, he cannot shoot, he cannot do anything without you investing in their currency. And it's the most petty. thing in the world. Like you
No,
will spend twice as much of the money you spend on the game getting your player to be an NBA caliber player.
nope. I will
It's
start up a season with the
terrible.
team and just play through.
Yeah, I used to give it up to 2K because visually it's amazing. Gameplay wise, it's a little too real for my liking. Like we talked about this. Like I like to shoot half
Mm.
court with Shaq, right? I'm an NBA Live type guy. But yeah, like you got to heat up, you got cold streaks. So you'll like it though, because Madden, like it's very similar to that. I think uh Madden stole a lot of that from 2K to make it more realistic. I don't want realism. I don't. That's not why I came here.
See, that's what I want. I don't want it to be too video gamey. Like I enjoyed like NBA Jam when I was younger, right? Like
Yeah,
guys jumping from the 3 point line with a ball that's on fire. Like you burn
on
your hand.
fire.
You
Nah,
ruined your career. You know, you burn your hands. You know what I mean? Like I love that stuff then, but now no, like I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for in this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I get that. It's just too much of a sim for me to handle because you have to get good at it and you got to stay good. Like, nah, not for me. But then I was like, okay, well, you create a character, you can make them unrealistically good, but they start unrealistically bad. How did you get drafted? Who picked you up?
Yeah. There's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft, right? Like you can't dribble. How did you get selected in those 2 rounds?
How?
Yeah.
I don't get it. So that's the part that I don't like about 2K is got like that's why when I was like I want 2K to bring back their football franchise. I want Madden to not no longer have a lock on all of football because I think it doesn't look as good as it should look. It doesn't run as good as it should run. I think is it Take Two? I forget. Visual Concepts is the ones who make 2K. I think they would do a much better job at making a football game, but they're going to nickel and dime you. Like they've set the precedent through 2K. They can make a lot of money. Like RJ, he has an allowance. I let him do what he wants to do with his allowance. But like I monitor what he's spending his money on, and a lot of it is VC on currency. I'm just like, yo, you already bought the game because I made him buy it himself. I'm not gonna play it. Like, so if you want to invest in it, you got to buy it yourself. You drop $70 or $100 if he gets like the Mamba edition, and now you dropped another 50 in currency. Come on, they got you.
But it's what he enjoys, right? Like
He
it's
and he
what
does.
he
He
enjoys.
plays it. It's not. He doesn't throw it away. Like him and his friends play it. Um, like he has a good time. But I'm just like, man, they. I feel as though they're like Vegas. They're robbing you in this regard. The house is winning because if you're able to do it, like who else is doing it, right? They're making a ton of money, so I can't knock the hustle, but I don't want to. I don't want to be involved in it.
Well, how much is your enjoyment worth to you is what that comes down to, right? So like for him, he's like, okay, yeah, I may have spent, I did the legendary Mamba edition for a hundred
Yeah.
dollars. I spent 50 on VC, but how many hours is he getting out of that? And is
Oh
it worth
yeah, yeah,
it?
he's getting a lot. So again, I can't knock it, like because I made him also purchase his own copy of Diablo. I'm not gonna play it. If you want to invest in it, go ahead. And he's hundreds of hours, right? And then it was bad because they patched it to being bad, and now he said they patched it being good. He's back on it. He's probably spent like almost 200 hours in that game. So it has paid for itself, but that's different in my opinion than I just feel like 2K is just it feels predatory in my opinion. But again, like you said, he's getting his money's worth, but it's just like ugh, I just don't like it. Like
I'd feel different. Well, let me not say I'd feel differently, but like if it's these young kids out here using their mom and dad's credit card without them knowing, like that's a different story. Like you're not gonna find out for a month until the statement comes and it's
right,
$1,000 on VC. You know what I mean? Like or
right.
whatever. You know what I
Like
mean?
nah, you want to that's your hard-earned money, right? You get paid
Yeah.
along. So indirectly, I'm paying for it, right? But uh, I'm the whole point of allowance is a vehicle, right? As a parent, you want them to learn how money works. You want them to do stuff to earn it, whatever, right? That's the currency. He's pretty frugal outside of his 2K purchases, right? And he's I think he's learning a valuable lesson out of it or what have you. I just think he's fueling the beast. Like it will never go the other way around, right? These companies will never not create these products in order to siphon his money if people keep investing in it. And I feel like I'm indirectly investing in it because I just outrightly just won't buy it. I just be like, you know what? It's not for me. You got me that 1 year, and it's only progressively getting worse. You're not gonna get any more out of me, but I'm still funding it, right? I'm still part of the supply chain. So it is what it is, I guess. Like you said, he's enjoying it. He's getting a lot of time out of it. Him and his friends are having a good time. So it is what it is.
So let me ask you something. So when you're watching like all your different streaming services and whatnot, are you watching them through your Xbox or your PlayStation, or is that kind of your streaming service?
No, no. So my streaming platform of choice is Apple TV. So either I'm doing it through like the TVs that don't have Apple, I'm doing it through a smart TV or of some sort around the house. But if I have the ability to, I do everything through my Apple TV. It just looks better. Like I don't know what magic they're doing behind the scenes in post processing, but like all of my apps I usually watch through my Apple TV in my living room.
So I'm running into this thing now. So like I'm doing almost everything through my PlayStation, and I have to sign in more and more often now to my apps.
Really?
I'm losing like it's losing my sign in, which I guess is a security thing,
Yeah, I was gonna
right?
say it's a flaw or a feature.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know, but like I was, and I say this because I was trying to watch Loki, and the Disney thing came up and was like, "Hey, you need to sign in." I'm like, "I've been signed." I'm like, I
Yeah.
keep doing
So
this.
I get that through my mobile. I don't know. Like maybe it's platform specific, but yeah, constantly through my phone. Like if I try to watch Hulu or Disney Plus, it's always asking me to sign back in.
I
And like I
never have it on my phone. That's
Mhm.
weird.
Yeah,
We
always.
have this. We have the same type of phone, do we not?
Yeah, I got a 12.
12. We got
Yeah.
12.
Mhm.
I never have it happen on my phone. Like, oh,
Always. It's consistent through my phone. But I never use my console. Like back in the day, my console used to be my streaming device. So like when I was in Turkey and my Xbox, it was always it never asked me to sign in. Like ever. I can barely rarely remember it asking me to sign into an account. I never use anything on my PS5 aside from playing games. And then obviously the Switch, like most services don't work. Like they don't have apps for the most part. They do, but not a lot of them. But yeah, my Apple TV never asked me to sign it. Very
that's
rarely, very rarely.
yeah, that's weird. I say that because I was trying to watch Loki and it did it again, and I was just like, and like the login is my wife's email, right? So it'll send something to her, but like
Oh, right, that
it's
that
I don't,
multi-factor. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't bother her about it until she's got time, and by then I forget about it. You know what I mean? Like
gotcha. So you haven't
I'm
watched any of season two?
I haven't watched any of it, but I know the last episode is coming this week, right?
Yeah, so it might be good. So you can binge it. You might have a different experience than me. I just hate waiting.
Mhm.
But for me, like again, I told you the reviews were not that high. They were saying it was boring. I'm enjoying it. Like I think this is some of their best since like Endgame and season one Loki, like when things started to peter off and like the shows are better than the movies now for the most part, except for like Moon Knight and Ms. Marvel. Aside from those, your Lokis, your Falcon and Winter Soldier, like I find those to be more interesting than some of the movies I've been dropping. Like to be honest with you, and I think Loki season two is actually really good. But you might have a different take on it. Like you might watch it and be like, nah, this is kind of boring. It has action. I don't know if it has as much action as the first. I think it's pretty much on par. Like this last episode, because it's how they make them in the factory, right? All these season TV series always have one episode that's high on exposition, low on action. And that was kind of like this penultimate episode has a lot more story, but I think it was warranted. Like it honestly answered a lot of season one questions in one episode. I'm just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then it also opened up a bunch of questions. Like this last episode has to be on par. Like they gotta do something spectacular to land this series.
I know I was reading an article yesterday or the day before. I can't remember what day it was. They were talking about Jonathan Majors, is his name? Power
Yeah.
Majors. Yeah. And they were talking about how Disney kind of has a problem. Like we know Kang is the new Thanos. Like, how's this gonna work with his legal troubles that are coming up? Like
Yeah.
it's
I think that trial is this month though. Like I read an article like because yeah, it like my time like I guess my news feed is very weird. It's got like security stuff in it. It's got some video game stuff in it. It has a bunch of Marvel stuff. And just like there's wars going on. There's you know what I mean? I know I'm pretty abreast of modern news, right? Contemporary news. None of that's in my feed. I have to go find it. That's crazy to me. But yeah, Jonathan Majors pops up a lot. So I read an article that said that pretty much like this month is pivotal, and it'll be the deciding factor if he sees any legal ramifications, any time in jail or whatever. And then this will be where, like, if Marvel has not started to pivot away from him, they will have to do it immediately because now they're getting way invested. Like if you watch the series, there's even more variants that they show of him. Like this dude can act. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. So hopefully he is on the right side of the law and he does prove himself to not have done whatever allegations he's being accused of, or at least to not the extent that he's being accused of them. Because I don't know what they're gonna do. Honestly, do not know.
Yeah, it's weird because the article was talking about how they got a, and it didn't mention his trial starting this month, so that's news to me because I haven't paid that close enough
Yeah.
attention to it, but it's talking about how like there was just so many delays because of the strikes that were going on as well. You had the Writers Guild of America, and then it was like the Screen Actors Guild or whatever.
Yeah, SAG and
Yeah,
and
SAG. Yeah,
AFTA.
yeah, and after, yeah. So like because of all of that, like it caused him to slow down for some things to where even if they were going to stick with him, he wasn't filming anything. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing
Gotcha.
it. So like it's to the point where it's like decision needs to be made soon. You know what I mean? Like we got to come up with something. And like you said, if for whatever reason it does come out that he's going to get some jail time or something like that, then yeah, he's going to lose it. You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen for him. They
Yeah.
already pulled. He had one other film he did. It was like some bodybuilding film or something like
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that was
that
was
one got
flawed.
pulled too. I'm
Yeah.
like, man. So
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds, right? It's in the hands of the legal system now. And then there always will be public perception, right? So like even if he's not guilty, he's guilty in the eyes of the public, until uh, he does something to sway everybody over to his side, right? But at the end of the day, like they're so invested. I don't even know. Like, so the article said they could pivot to Doctor Doom, possibly. They can because they got the Fantastic Four movie coming, and they could potentially say like Kang wasn't the big bad, and let's wrap this up and then move on. Because they haven't filmed, like you said, they haven't filmed the Dynasty of Kang and all that stuff. So they could restructure the whole end of that phase because it hasn't been filmed yet, but it'd be weird.
like how do they go away from it though? Like what do you change that he hasn't already filmed? So like with Loki, all this stuff was filmed,
Yeah.
and I imagine this last episode is going to tie into probably Marvels, right? Because it ends the day before that releases.
And I don't see how. Like so far they haven't like this last episode's got to be a banger or it's going to be a complete like its own thing. I don't like because I haven't been watching the Marvel's commercials, but I did hear one on the radio and they gave a little bit more exposition. So it sounds like a lot more of the Ronin and his people. Like I guess is going to be the big bad. I don't know why it's important, but B, I don't know how it ties to anything else. I don't get like they're going to the multiverse, right? So like you're not like I would assume all the big bads are going to be of that ilk, so to speak, right? Like this has to be a multiversal problem. I don't see that so far in the marketing. But again, they may not be showing it on purpose.
That's what I think is it's one of those things where they're just not showing it on purpose. And Marvel does a pretty good job of hiding things like that in their trailers, right?
Right.
You know,
Right. Like yeah, they'll just completely CG you out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People like, yo, that was deceptive. So hopefully they're deceiving us, and it's going to be something amazing. But at the same time, I don't know if it's what I wanted. I think Endgame was it. I don't know if they can get better than Endgame. Like I think they had something with like if they especially if they pivot away from Jonathan Majors, like with the whole Kang thing, like the more interesting part of all these movies have been the Kang references, his cameos, his post-credit scenes, like Loki, like all that stuff's been interesting. Like Miss Marvel, I don't is he in it? You know what I mean? Like, what are they fighting a different big bad? Like, what is happening? I thought it was all Kang focused, right? I don't know. I don't know where they're going with it.
Yeah, he may not be in that one because when his legal troubles were happening, when they were going off, that's earlier this year. They could have still been filming to where they'd be like, all right, we gotta change some of this just in case.
Right. And if that's the case, then like, is there A tier becoming a B tier? Because like again, like A tier should now be Kang and other multiversal threats. So like, is it like where all the A tier find Thanos and the B tiers in Hell's Kitchen when we don't care about them? So is that the new norm? Like A tier is fighting multiversal incursions and wars. B team is whoever this person that they're fighting. Like, have they shifted the bar? I don't know. Because I honestly, like, I don't even know if I'm going to go see it. Like, it
Yeah.
might be an Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 situation. I'm just like, I'll see when it comes home.
Which I still haven't seen. Eventually.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I think it's worth your time if you have nothing going on. It's worth your what time would that be? What type of time is that? Your throwaway time. It's worth your throwaway time.
We got to see. I can't even get Disney Plus to come up, so we'll see. It'll come up on my phone, but I don't want to watch it on my phone. I got 75 inches. I want to watch it on. You know what I mean?
Right, right, exactly.
I'm not-
My
so
phone.
yeah, spill it. Patooey, throw it
My phone. What?
down.
Um, what else? So you don't watch Gen V, so that one had its finale. I didn't watch it yet. I want to watch that today. Invincible, episode 1. You see it?
I didn't know it was out. I thought it was
It
this.
is out.
I thought it was this coming week. Was it good?
Ah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I said I was gonna ping you when I watched it too. I was gonna be like, hey, did you see it? But I was like, nah, I ain't gonna bother me playing Spider-Man. But yeah, you should check it out.
Okay. I'm definitely putting that in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost track of that. I thought it was this coming week, not last week. So
Yep. Last week it debuted. So
what
you might get you.
was it Friday?
Uh, when did I watch it? I watched it Friday morning, so it had to be Thursday
Okay.
because it was already out. Like I got again my feed was like, oh, Invincible season 1 debuted, yada yada yada. I was like, oh yeah, it is out. So I went and watched it that morning before work. I was like, okay, I see, I see promise here, and because I won't give anything away. I want you to enjoy it. Because I was totally baffled by the last trailer for it. I was like, what's going on? And then when you watch it, you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Well, the last trailer that I saw, I don't know if you saw the last trailer. You saw the one where he's like on
Yeah.
in New York City Times Square on the
Yep.
screen. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how that is going to play out, but it's kind of explained in the first episode that
Yep.
it plays out.
Yep. Yep.
Really?
Yep. They explain it. Yep.
I thought that
They,
would be an accumulation, like it'd be near the end or something. The way that that plays out, there would have to be a series of events that happen.
me
And
too.
wow, okay,
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy it.
okay, all right.
Hey, but you let me know. I'm not trying to overhype it, right? So you let me know. That's why I'm trying to be so timid about Loki season 2 because you might be like the IGN. You might be like, this is whack. I'm thoroughly enjoying it though. So we'll see. But again, it's like so like Loki and Invincible, different types of action. So I think this one has what you're looking for in it, in Invincible. And then there's one more thing I want to ask you if you had watched it. So Loki, Gen V, Invincible. Oh, the Echo
I saw the
trailer.
trailer. I didn't see the trailer. I was reading an article about it,
It's
and they said the trailer
it's
looks good.
way more violent than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I'm like, if
Well,
this is the
Wilson
direction they're
Fisk.
going,
What do you
yeah.
expect with Wilson Fisk though, right? Like he's slamming people's heads in doors. Like that's kind of how he gets down.
Right, but it's been so few and far between. Like Daredevil had a lot more of it, but I was just like, because they've been talking about like Daredevil's not working out the way that they were hoping. They're talking about redoing it or whatever, reshooting a bunch of stuff or just rebooting it internally. So I had some concerns. I was like, well, because he's an integral part of like it's Echo's story, but you're gonna have Daredevil. It's gonna be in it, right? Wilson Fisk is gonna be the big bad most likely, or somebody of his caliber. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, they are going the direction I want." I was like, "Yes, like yeah, you getting it." So this might be the first MA rated. Disney TV show or whatever, because they say it's going to have a lot of, it's going to be darker tones, it's going to have a lot of violence in it.
You mean
It'll be
that
more like Netflix than
you
it's
mean
going to
that
be
they
like,
created under the Disney banner then? Because
yes,
all
yeah,
the stuff from Netflix, that's it,
right,
right?
exactly. It's going to be
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Netflix. It's going to
Okay.
be Disney. That's what I was concerned about. I was like, are they going to take? They're gonna She-Hulk this one out. Apparently not. So I'm like, okay, I'm down. So yeah, I was gonna ask you to watch the trailer, but aside from that, like it looks really really promising, right? Like I think Echo is gonna be really good. If they fix Daredevil, I think that's gonna be really good. So Disney TV series, Disney Plus series are actually working out pretty well. So I'm like and then that was the opposite for me, right? Like when it was Netflix, I was like, these are B tier. Like these guys are in Hell's Kitchen. They're not getting at Thanos. It's not happening. But that like the TV shows might save Marvel's phase, what is it, phase five?
Yeah,
Is that where we're in?
yeah.
Because so far phase five has been kind of whack. Like Secret Invasion, whack. That was TV show though. And then all of the movies have been iffy, right? So like, and I don't know if the Marvels is going to really pull us out of that, but I might be pleasantly surprised. I might go see it because it's going to be bombastic, right? Like it's going to be very loud, it's going to be very visual, so it might be worth my theater time. But my theater time is limited. I only go if I have to. It's like a banger. I have to go see.
Wait for the reviews, man. Like, wait for the reviews. Because,
Yeah, you
like,
think so? Like not the first weekend. Like don't go to premiere. Like wait to see what
yeah,
people are saying.
yeah. The first trailers, I was not thrilled with, but then I saw this last one. I was like, okay, that's better.
I might check out the trailer then.
Um,
I might, because like, yeah, I've only seen the beginning trailers. They didn't really do it for me. Like,
yeah,
because I'm all about the characters. I think Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Photon, right? Rambo. I think that combination will work really well. But they have to have somebody to go up against. Like again, like I've not seen the big bad. Like I want all the big bads to be Kang or some variation of Kang, right?
yeah.
Like who is this person? So I guess we'll see.
I'm actually waiting for because Levon said it was pretty good with Blue Beetle. I'm waiting for that to show up, which I think is going to be Max, right?
Yeah, that'll be Max.
It'll be Max because it's DC. Um, I'm waiting for that to come out because I'm kind of curious. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
I've heard nothing but good things too. I just like I don't know the character very well, and then B, I'm thoroughly confused on what is DCU, what's DCEU, what is Gunn gonna do with this. So apparently Gunn is saying this is part of the DCU universe. This is his universe, even though he had nothing to do with it. He's like I will claim this one. So I'm like, okay, cool, because I don't really want to watch anything from dead franchises. You know what I mean? Like,
so why is he claiming this one and not Flash? Same thing. Flash
don't
came
know,
out
don't
under
know.
it was
Yeah.
distributed under his direction, right? Distributed under his direction. I don't know how you say it, but like he
Yeah.
was the head of the studio when it distributed, but he didn't have a hand in making it. Like it was the same with Blue Beetle. So I wonder why the difference? Because he hasn't totally come out there and said he's separating himself from Ezra Miller either. He hasn't said that he's totally
Right, right.
gone.
And I don't think he will. I think it doesn't marry well with his stories, right? Like he has his own canon, his own story. I think some to the fact that like this one can be folded into his and Flash cannot.
I don't
So
know how not. I don't know how not, right? Because like his thing was, I want the younger actors. So that's why he got rid of all the older actors, right? Because he's got a 10-year plan here.
yeah,
So the people in 10 years, there's people that are the characters now in 10 years when they're 50, they're not going to want to be jumping over buildings in a single bound, leaping over
right, right.
single
But
bound.
but but they're saying that like because I've read another article, right? Like I don't know, some of these articles would just be fanfic. Like it just be like, this is what we want to happen. But they're saying that they're going to be pulling in some of the older actors into his universe, but as different people. So like Jason Momoa will be back as a villain or something like that. Like so he's able to utilize these people probably because he can kill them off, right? So like they don't have to do another 10 years if he brings them in as a bad guy, then kills them, and he still gets the star power, right? So I don't know.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what he does with it, but I don't know. We'll see if he disappoints or not.
We'll see. I mean, and Gunn we trust, right? Like he made Guardians pretty good. He made Brightburn. I don't think you ever watched that.
I haven't seen Brightburn. I've heard it was pretty good though. Like it's like
It's like
Batman
it's
Superman, right? Type thing.
yeah, it's like a Superman as
Style.
a horror flick.
Yeah.
You're like,
But as
oh
but as a young teenager or something like that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a kid
Right.
with Superman like powers. Like how's that going to work out? Not well.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. And then he did something else. I forget, but
The
oh yeah,
Suicide
Suicide
Squad.
Squad. Yeah, the
The
Suicide
Suicide Squad.
Squad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whichever one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the good one.
It was probably the better of the two, but it had its moments too where I was just like, ah, come on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he does. Like, I need to do something quick though, man. Like, it's been close to a year. You've had the studio now, man. Like, come on.
Well, then you got to factor in the strikes. Like,
Yes.
could he
Yeah.
write stuff? Could he, you know what I mean? Like, he can't do any pre-production. So
Yeah.
like, so you might get a pass for a little bit longer. But yeah, like you said, he has to drop something. I guess his first is gonna be Superman, though, right? Out of the story he's telling, he's gonna
Legacy or something like that.
tell
Or
it. Yeah, tell a new Superman story. So we'll
well,
see.
I don't think you could change the story. It's just how it's presented, right? Like the story will be the story. Like how are you putting it out there for the people though, right? Like he will always have come from Krypton in a rocket, be discovered by the Kents. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Right, but you could put a spin on it because like you have the Red Sun storylines. You have all the stories that I like.
I don't think he'll do that though. That's not something you put out as a major studio release, right? Like to have USSR Superman. Like that's not a thing. You know what I mean? Like
That's very true.
people
But
people will
like
not.
even my friend Superman though, the cartoon, that one had a different take on it. They bent the story a little bit. Like it still was him on a farm with the Kents, but his origin was slightly different.
Okay.
How he got there.
Okay.
So guess
Well,
we'll see.
see.
See what comes of it. But yeah, I think this was what pretty much lands the episode. So if you have not already, please go back. This to the audience, please go back and listen to Monday, Tuesday, our topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursday will be a throwback. So I picked something from the almost 500 episodes to present again. Like, hey, check this one out. It was pretty interesting. And then, of course, Fridays are everything else: movies, books, games, all that stuff. So if you came here first, you're like, what does that have to do with cybersecurity? Nothing. Go back to the rest of the week. All right. We drop 5 episodes a week. So you missed the other 4 that were cybersecurity related. So definitely check those out. Hit us up by all the websites that go by our name. You can be a person. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. So that's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Threads, and Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.